So moving on to verse 2 of Yesterday. We have the same melodic structure, the same chord structure, but I'm filling out the texture somewhat. Starting with the same first phrase. I'm now going to take advantage of these open strings and put in a little figure. So it's F, G, A, G, F. And there's a couple of different ways one could finger this with the right hand. I could do, and just do it with I, M, and A, or more typically I find myself leading with the thumb and doing it with P, I, and M. That's P, I, M, and A is the ring finger. So here again, down to the E minor, but now instead of just playing the A melody note, I'm filling it in a little bit more, and you'll see when I get to that second note, that B, here I'm outlining an E minor triad, straight E minor triad, E, E, G, B. So remember that grip. It's a very useful grip, and I move that up for one fret, for example. It's F, 2 frets. It's G. That it fills out the basic structure of a triad. And in the case of the E minor, that open G is the minor third. So here, and then moving to the A, as we did before. But now, on the D, I'm putting in a little extra turn. So instead of just doing a pull-off, now I'm doing a hammer-on. And that really requires to pick the note and literally hammer onto the string with the next finger. And then that's followed by a pull-off and another pull-off, and then I restrike. So here, and I'll play that slowly, just the melody. You see how that works. So here, and then instead of playing the open D bass note here, like I did in the first verse, for a little variation, I'm playing it on the 5th string at the 5th fret, which lets me then slide down for a little extra articulation. So, and then moving on down to the B flat, C7, or maybe even do this. Fill out the whole C chord there. There's a C grip. And again, I'll call this a grip because if you strum it, you actually have that D on top. So it's a C with an added 2, the added D. So one of the great things about DAD-GAD is this characteristic that wherever you're playing a chord, there's quite typically an open string that will give you some additional characteristic note. In this case, you have that D. Of course, it's not part of our melody, but it is from the previous phrase. So I don't have to worry about stopping that. It can keep ringing. I don't have to cut it short. Just let things ring. Back to the, now if I fill it in with the G, what I really got here is a G minus 7 over F. There's the G, there's the B flat of a G minor chord, there's the F, which is the 7s, minor 7s. So you can think of it as an F sus with an added 2, that open G string, or going to an F add 2, and then moving down as we did before. And this time, I'm going to fill in that G. And look at the fingering there. Again, you want to get used to stretching out your pinky. It's not, Daggad isn't a tuning for lazy fingerings. You want to really make use of all the left hand fingers and the stretches. And here, G, B, D, G. And it's quite dense because it's low down on the guitar. And it's actually nothing more than the equivalent of playing this if you were in standard tuning. Just playing the bottom 4 strings of a G chord, a cowboy G chord. And then moving on to the B flat. And that's the end of the phrase, but I'm adding a little bit of a tag to lead me into the next phrase, into the bridge section, which will be those 3 notes. But we'll pick that up as we move into the next section. So I'll play that whole section, that whole second verse for you as we just went through it. And one other thing I neglected to mention on the, I'm adding just a little filler F on the 4th string, just to keep the texture moving. So that's the second verse of Yesterday.